Hey,
I just
Jonathan.
have just a quick comment. I think I mentioned it at the end of the last meeting, or maybe the one before the special meeting, but I have a hard stop at 6, so my hope is I should be able to finish this application, but it won't be here for the rest. But I don't think it'll affect quorum. So
No, it won't affect quorum, but with that, I will double check where it puts you in my randomizer for this one. I'll
yeah,
move you. I'll move
ideally
you.
earlier. Yeah.
You ended up second, so
Okay, perfect.
yeah. Okay,
Okay, thanks.
sounds good. And apologies, Jonathan, I forgot. And I think I saw Peter join. Welcome, Peter.
Hello. Are we having to wait for the next person to come on? I think they were scheduled for 5:20.
Yeah, we're a bit ahead of schedule, but I'm just going to see if they can join a little bit early.
I kind of feel like I should ask Karen what Captain America is, but
Oh, it was just cute. They're working on our MDP, and their graphic designer put some Easter eggs into one of our visionary concepts. So
oh,
it was really cute. We're like, hey!
you mentioned Frankenstein, so maybe they should put that into
Yeah,
one of their images for the next submission.
it was cute. Anyway.
Any word from our applicant, Ashley?
They're just seeing if they can get the rest of the team, but it looks like they should be able to join in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Hi, Demir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I see Julian joined as well.
Hi, Janice.
I take it we're waiting for a few more.
2 more on our end, I think.
With the presentation file, Janice, do you want us to flip through the file, or do you do that, or how does it work?
We can do either way. If you'd like to share your screen, you can.
Okay.
If you'd like Ashley to pull it up, she can as well.
Okay, present. I'm just trying to, I'm not using Google Meet every day. Present now.
Okay, and I think I saw Blake and Bajan join as well.
Yeah,
Okay, so maybe I'll do a quick intro while you attempt to share your screen, and then if we can't get it to work, then we'll get Ashley to share.
okay.
So we would like to welcome you to the Edmonton Design Committee for the formal DP presentation of Rhodium. We would like to remind you that this is a public meeting. The committee has all received and reviewed your submission package. You will have 10 minutes to present, and then we'll go a virtual roundtable of committee members for a round of questions. After the presentation, the committee will deliberate, and then we'll respond formally back to you in writing within 48 hours. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Present. Present interest. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay, good. So I might as well introduce, my name is Damir Belzek. I'm an architect with 11, and I'm here with two of my partners, Blake Whelan and Julian Willegli. So what we'll do, I mean, as you mentioned, Janice, you received the package and you had a chance to review it. So what we'll do is just a quick overview of the proposed development. We'll highlight what we see as important, and then definitely we're here to answer any questions any of the committee members might have. So we'll start with this first. That's the view. This is where the project started, how it was conceived. This is actual drone shot from the penthouse level above the site. So it's one of those kind of iconic postcard views of Edmonton, including everything. There is we're seeing the river, the downtown skyline, the new bridge, the legislature, everything is there. So this was a great inspiration for us to start the project. So it consists of up to 11 exclusive condominium units. So it's quite an upscale project. So our main guideline from the start was to maximize the views of this skyline and the river from each of the units. So we'll just go quickly through a few of the interior views. So that's the kind of a penthouse terrace from the same point. And we try to, as we go inside through the various rooms, that's the living room approaching that terrace, the dining room. We just wanted to make sure that each one of these spaces in each of the units, the bedroom here, has an uninterrupted view of the skyline as a main selling point of the development. You're probably familiar with the location. It's like indicated here with the red dot, the existing situation. So it's facing the Saskatchewan River to the north, and other buildings on the south. It's directly behind is a 16-story residential tower. So site is very limited. It's kind of consists of just two smaller single-story bungalow type buildings. We were very constrained with what can be achieved on that site. So, for example, parking, we are proposing 3-level underground parking, but that's the small footprint sort of presents with a kind of a problem. So we could either put some parking spots or a ramp, but not both. So there was no space for the ramp. So we are currently we are including 2 car elevators because that's the only way to get down there. But on the other hand, we welcome this as a kind of another feature of the project because it's very unique. We haven't found another one in Edmonton, and I don't know, there are not many installed in Canada because we talked to all of the suppliers and there are very few far in between that are installed. So we believe that's another kind of attractive feature of this development. The other thing on the relatively small footprint, we tried to kind of this connection with the surrounding neighborhood and area. We slightly elevated the building on a podium. It's about 3 feet high, so it provides a kind of a slight buffer between the kind of a public realm and the private area, but it's still open and there is like a really a strong visual connection. You can see it here in the section. There's like 3 underground parking and the ground floor of the building is slightly elevated. Also, I forgot to mention that talking about the views. So top 4 floors obviously have nice views, but we didn't want to shortchange the units on the lower floors. So what we did is created a 2-story units on level 2 and 3. So even they, from their upper level, have reasonable views of across through the trees and over the trees to the river valley and the downtown. Sort of moving on, I've highlighted here this amenity area that looks outside over that elevated buffer zones towards the street. So that's a kind of a lounge type amenity area. It's about half of the footprint, so it's around 2,000 square feet. It's a kind of a enclosed, but in the summer opens up, so there is a kind of a potential of walking out to the terrace. So it's kind of with a view to the exterior. It's like the street and pedestrian traffic is visible, but there is like a with that slight landscaping buffer. It's kind of a kind of slightly detached from the and allows for a certain level of privacy. Moving on, so that's the kind of a current vignette of the main entrance. So you can see that elevated portion that you access with these stairs, either with the stairs or with the ramp, and kind of entrance is nicely marked and visible. So, and that's the building viewed from the north east corner. We introduced some undulating balconies, and interesting fact, initial concept of the building didn't even have balconies. We were just created kind of a simple open box, and we were suggesting some nano walls where they would open, and then the living room and spaces itself would become a terrace. But consulting with our marketing and sales team, they thought that not having balconies would be a hard sell. So we saw this as an opportunity to introduce some undulating shapes. So we kept the building fairly simple. So the structural grid is still lined up. The bulk of the inside portion of the building is fairly straight. And we are playing with some kind of interesting curvilinear shapes on the outside, creating some additional interest for the looking from the street perspective. And in terms of material that's included in the booklet, so we have some stone finish for that raised podium. The ground floor is the solid portions are iron spot, dark iron spot brick. We have some curved areas, so we are installing this brick in a vertical way so it can go nicely around the curves. We have a sort of floor to ceiling glazing on the north part. And although it's most of the apartments have considerable amount of glazing, however, overall, over 60% of the building is solid. So we are very conscious of the kind of a functioning of that building in the summer and winter months as well. So on the average, we have over 60% solid and less than 40% open. So we believe that we are currently working on a building sort of energy modeling. So we believe we'll be within the ranges we're trying to achieve. So the rest of the material is we have some bronze finished metal cladding. So that would be on the south facing, and then we have some kind of a punched openings and examples of the railings. So just one more final image. So that's the view from kind of a zoomed in from across the river. So just a final thought before we kind of open up the floor for the questions. I don't know how should I say it. We like the fact that Edmonton Design Committee exists, and we are on the same page. We want to make the city, improve it, and make it beautiful. So we believe that this would be our small contribution to kind of our small addition to the beautifying the urban fabric of Edmonton and contributing to the skyline. So with that, I don't know if my colleagues have anything to add. Otherwise, we are ready to answer any questions the committee might have. But thank you very much for helping us today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Definitely appreciated all the imagery. So with this, we'll get our questions kicked off with Craig.
Thank you for your presentation. I think overall it's a fairly elegant building. I don't have too much to say. My first question was going to be where the bike storage is, and now as I'm flipping through the document, I see it again. But maybe to that kind of point, can you clarify the grading around that whole kind of storage vehicle lift kind of section? I'm just trying to make sense of that. Does that storage come in at grade off of 104th, or is that an alley? I think it's an alley.
Would this image help?
You're
Julian,
correct,
want to
Craig.
take that one? Or Blake?
Yeah. Blake, I'll let you do it.
No worries. You're correct, Craig. So the slab is stepped, so that storage enters a grade. We have bike storage to the north. We're actually going to add some short-term storage to the site as well after our first round of development permit comments. That's also the access for the waste. So the garbage disposal will be in that space as well.
Yeah, okay. That was my only kind of comment. I kind of don't usually focus too much on the floor plans. They're nice to get. It did seem like it could benefit from some more storage. And the other thing I missed kind of was the vehicle lift. Can you explain quickly how that works, or how many stalls that's kind of given us for parking stalls?
Sure. We have the two vehicle lifts, so you can see them here on this plan, just on the south there. Yeah. Two in case one's under maintenance or has another issue. And they go down 3 levels of parkade. And I mean, we're kind of working it out with the consultants and what's required for building services, but we're in the range of 30 stalls.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I missed that so there is full underground parking. It's not just at first I read it as like 2 stacked, you know what I mean? The kind of garage lift.
Yeah.
And it's like you only have 4 parking. And then kind of just lastly on that note, Is there enough of a roadway behind that to alleviate backing out into that lane?
It's a drive-through elevator, so you'll drive in from the lane and drive out facing the lane.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, we're running swept paths and stuff. We're widening the laneway slightly as well for easier access. There's a laneway upgrade required.
Okay. No, thanks. I don't have any other comments, questions, or concerns. Thank you.
I'll just add regarding the parking to what Blake said. So we have approximately 12 parking spots per level. So that's at least 36 stalls. And we only have 11 units. But since this is such a, we're expecting that each household would require at least 2, if not 3 parking spots. So it's available if necessary.
Yeah, because they're actually quite large units. I wasn't counting bedrooms, but I think you did have some 3 bedrooms in there. So
Yeah, we have roughly 2 typical options. On a typical floor, we have 2 units there, each about 2,000 square feet, and then we have almost 4,500 square foot a penthouse. So depending on the demand, we might repeat the penthouse layout on a sub penthouse. So that would decrease the number of units to 10, but we'll see how it goes.
Great, thanks.
Okay, thanks for that, Craig. Before we move on to Jonathan, I'd just like to remind the committee that Ashley has shared the Google Doc, so just check your emails. So with that, we'll go to Jonathan.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. Good to see this exciting project, you guys. I think this is the first time we've had this many AI attendees in our NEDC meeting, so it's good to see the future is here. I had 2 questions. One was about the bike parking, and that's great. That's been addressed, where to park your bike when you're not taking your Ferrari up in a car elevator and driving somewhere.
Well, we have to have it, Jonathan. We couldn't not have it. So
yeah, like there are some expensive bikes that you could use if Anyway, the only question I had was this transformer. So I noticed on the landscape sketch, there's no transformer, and then it pops up again in the landscape plan, and then disappears again in the main floor plan. Is this transformer on that kind of south or west, kind of southwest corner of the building?
That's still under debate, Jonathan. Okay. So there is like an option to put it here. There is another option to put it on the northeast corner, and the third and most likely direction will take it to put it underground. So we'll lose some space in the parking garage, but it's going to be completely enclosed because from developers' point, it's such a small site, and outdoor transformers would be something, I don't know, let's say unsightly.
Yeah, well, that's exactly where I was coming on 104th Street, and that's such a significant corner. Yeah, so that's good to hear. Yeah, nothing else. Great project. Good to see it. And yeah, best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Jonathan. We'll move to Karen.
Hi there. Thanks for the presentation. I think that building looks really, really lovely. I really enjoy the lines on the balconies, and I'm very pro balcony and outdoor living space. Really, my questions were around the parking as well, and I was doing a double take. It said car elevator, so I was like, oh, thought that was interesting. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. And yeah, parking and access is probably the big ones for me. So that's it from my end. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Karen. We'll go to Nick.
Thanks, Janice, and thanks for the presentation. I've really, just beyond what my colleagues have already said, the only other one I had that I just haven't really seen in your presentation is that southern elevation. You've done the nice visuals on the front and the side, but that south elevation and what its relationship is with the other building, that's the part that I feel is just missing at the moment. It's fairly blank, if I'm interpreting the plans right. So I don't know if you want to speak to a little bit about that elevation and what that means to its interface with the properties to the south.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have any. I don't know. Maybe we can. This kind of shows it a bit on this rendering. You see the north elevation of the neighboring building, and they don't have any windows on that side. There, it's a kind of a residential tower facing east and west. So there is no kind of a direct interference. Nobody's overlooking anybody. Our elevation is pretty much solid on the south side. So from that perspective, there's no overshadowing as well, because we are much lower. We only have 7 floors and there are 14 or 15. And we are not casting any shadows on that side. So I don't know if that helps answer.
It's not so much from a shadow perspective. It's just in the information. I haven't really seen any addressing of that south elevation. It is blank. I recognize that, but we don't sort of have that visual or what that relationship is from not only the neighboring property, but from the street as well when you're walking up, whether there's a visual cue on it. And it's just whether there's some, it may not need windows, it may just be the materiality and how you use that to break it up a bit versus such a large scale blank wall. I mean, the building to your south is obviously a very older building of a different era. And just how you could use maybe tactile elements, because otherwise it creates a rather large mass on that southern perspective. Just something to consider.
Yeah, maybe to answer your question there, Nick. The windows you can sort of see in this image, and it'll be on the same on the other side, do wrap around slightly, and you're correct, it'll be mostly through material articulation, so how we're using that metal. So traveling north, I guess, which is the biggest sight line you would have of this building, regarding the back, is you'll see that glass wraps around the corner, there's some screening above, and then it transitions to that different plane with the metal panel.
Thank you.
Okay.
Julian, did we include the north elevation in that in the main package?
We did actually. So the main package on page 13 has the south elevation.
I don't know if you need to share it, but basically, am I hearing the
Yep.
Basically, we carried, I mean, it's solid, but it's articulated. We carry those horizontal bands all the way around. And then the vertical panes of glass are replaced with the vertical corrugated metal elements in the same bronze color. And then there is a big volume covering the elevators, and they're clad in brick. So we are carrying the same materials, just replacing glass with the solid elements, but it's not just a gigantic blank wall. It's kind of articulating in a way that continues the expression of the north elevation.
Thanks. So again, I just go back, the illustration at the moment, the elevation I saw was the drawing. I didn't see an illustration and see what that tactile meant, or how to maybe read it as well to get that visualization.
Okay, thanks for those comments, Nick. We'll go to Greg.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Yeah, I think the building's quite beautiful from the Saskatchewan Drive perspective. And to Jonathan's point, you guys were indicating you might be putting the transformer into the parking garage. And I think that would be a great idea, because it does eat up a lot of space on that corner. But otherwise, I don't think I have any new comments to add that hasn't been addressed right now. So it looks great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Greg. We'll go to Neil.
Thank you. Lovely building, sits on the site well. My primary concern was raised by Nick, and you addressed it well. I almost want to critique you, Damir, because in your robust support of EDC, but I think it's a lovely building, and I've got no concerns or no comments. I'm going to pass it on.
Okay, thanks for that, Neil. We'll go to Mindy.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you very much for your presentation. I have no questions. I just echo the sentiments of my colleagues, and this is a really beautiful building. I appreciate all the images that you provided. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Mindy. We'll go to David.
Yeah, thanks for your presentation. I agree with my colleagues, especially with the amount of space that you really have for this development. I think, you've used all of the space in a very elegant approach within this sort of prominent location. The only item that I wanted to discuss or focus on was the common amenity area and the adjoining indoor amenity space. That right now is situated on probably the most busiest corner of the site, and based on its location, I get a concern with respect to the current design of that space, if it would be even used, especially used year round. So I'm just wondering if there's been any sort of detailed sort of focus on some of the some considerations that would sort of make that space a more comfortable sort of garden terrace space for residents, by introducing seat walls and maybe some permeable decorative screens and appropriate plantings around that edge. And I know that people have already addressed the transformer as well, which really doesn't fit within that space. So I'm just wondering if there has been any consideration about how that space could be made more comfortable with regards to its relationship to that busy corner. And then I guess I'll throw in another question. Was there any consideration of creating a rooftop amenity space to once again sort of remove that component away from that busy corner and also provide a common space that provides the same beautiful views that you sort of talked about at the beginning of the presentation from the perspective of each of the individual units?
Okay. I can go backwards regarding the rooftop. The building, actually, we went through the mild rezoning to allow us to go up to 28 meters in height from 23. So we kind of exceeded the maximum allowable height. So adding a roof terrace wasn't an option. Another part of that argument is that we are providing extremely generous outdoor spaces for each of the units anyway. So right. we are hoping that each unit has a more than enough of terrace space. So so that kind of requirement for a common open space is kind of minimized. And with the ground floor terrace, yes, we hear your concerns, and we definitely had that in consideration. And we still have a landscape plans in development, and definitely that's sort of a part of the design to develop that right balance between creating a privacy for those kind of owners using that common space that's in the summer could be kind of in and out space, while providing some privacy. On the other hand, we didn't want to create a fortress here. It's some kind of a rich people's paradise, and there's like a kind of a high gate and nobody. We try to keep it friendly and open, however much that is possible. So it's kind of a kind of a fine balance between achieving some kind of a privacy, but without building a wall and excluding everybody else out.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sort of indicating a wall, but most certainly some better definition. And I think one of the other things is that it really needs to sort of tie to what sort of amenities you're providing within that interior space. So it just becomes like an extension of that interior space, especially for certain times in the year, sort of an extension of that interior amenity space. So
Yeah, our inspiration was I don't know, like a hotel lobby of some upscale boutique space, so something like that. So we are here. I don't know. I don't have a floor plan, but here it's like a kind of some kind of a bar area overlooking the seating lounge area in front of the fireplace, more seating, and to the left, in the summer, the kind of this glass door would open towards that kind of an open terrace area where technically you could sit outside, have a barbecue and stuff like that. But we don't envisage it as being super busy.
okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for that, David. We'll go to Shay.
Awesome. Well, great presentation. 11. This is a very exciting, elegant project. Really nice massing. Compliment to the excellent selection of north-facing vegetation. You know, Carl Forster and junipers are classic choices. And again, the material usage I think is really great. A lot of them are a darker material, and they are darker at the pedestrian interface. And I see from the lighting plan, I think the lighting solution and the lighting strategies for this will really elevate that ground floor connection with the rest of Saskatchewan Drive to not make that first floor feel too dark and vacuous. But from some of the renderings I'm seeing, it looks pretty well lit. If you need some ammunition for your PMT location, as we've all chatted a lot about, I'm 90% sure EPCOR also won't allow you to have the PMT under any occupied spaces. And I think here a little bit of that unit conflicts there. So if you need some ammunition to move it underground, I think there's something you can use there. My only other main comment is, again, that interface between the south of the edge of the property and then the larger tower below, there's a strip of columnar blue spruce, and what I see is purple spire cranberry planting. That's a really narrow planting space, and if I read the elevations, there's also a retaining wall there. So all this vegetation is kind of sitting in this space between two really large buildings and a full canopy of trees, and just wondering if especially those trees are going to be able to live in that narrow space, and if there's a way to move them elsewhere on site, or to move them out of that dark space crammed between two rather large developments. But then, outside of that, it's just seeing some other ideas you guys might have in mind for what that outdoor amenity common space could be. If there's a way to, put some drink rails on the edge or some seating in there that's integrated into the architecture versus just FF&E, is a way to make that space look really great when it's probably not going to be utilized very much in the winter months.
Okay, thanks for that, Shay. Following up on that, I don't think I have any further comments than what we've already heard from the committee. So with that, I'd like to thank you for bringing this before us. And as noted at the beginning, we will respond back to you in writing within 48 hours. We will jump right into deliberations. You are more than welcome to stay on the call and listen. We just ask that you don't participate in the deliberation portion. So with that, I'll open up the floor to the committee. Thoughts, comments? I think the largest comments that we heard were surrounding the transformer, surrounding that common amenity area, and then some potential glazing, which I think came from Craig.
Yeah, I think that captures everything, Janice, and actually I would just like to make a motion of support.
Okay, can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
Oh, who said that? I wasn't quick enough. Oh, it was Neil. You said it too quickly. Okay. Ashley, do you want to share the screen?
The only thing I'm not seeing on the screen, which Shay commented on was right at the very end on the landscaping in between the two buildings. Good catch.
Okay. So what would we like to add in regards to a comment there? I'm assuming that would be a separate bullet point.
Yeah. I don't know. David, do we have any thoughts on?
We can go back to Shay. He can.
Shay.
I mean, I don't want to pretend to be a landscape architect, but from the feedback I usually get from them, they give them enough daylight so that they live. And it's mostly the concern about having that retaining wall there is just, can you verify with whatever consultant ends up being brought on board that these guys won't die in 2 to 5 years? And it'll be a cold space.
Okay. I see Peter raised his hand from administration. Peter, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that Shay has the document.
Yeah. So Shay, if you check your email, you should have a link to this document that's shown on the screen.
I get it. Yeah, I can have the comment here.
Perfect.
So if you want to help wordsmith, it just makes our motions go quicker. Okay, I think we all acknowledge and appreciate the concern, though. So that would kind of be the fourth bullet point. Peter, you still got your hand up.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, going back to the committee, is there any other comments?
Shay, I think you got to add it to the other doc. I see you typing in the other one.
I see. Okay, I'm in the wrong document.
I also wonder, Ashley, can you zoom in on the document a bit? Yeah, perfect.
There you go. Okay, Shay's in the document now. Oh, what you just copied looked great.
Aside from the formatting.
Yeah, formatting we can deal with, just like that. Okay. I take it that captures the comments. David's given us a thumbs up. Okay. There you go. Okay, last call for any comments from the committee. Okay, so we'll go to a vote for the motion of support as presented on the screen. We'll go in the question order. Craig?
Support.
Jonathan?
Support.
Aaron?
Support.
Nick?
Support.
Greg?
Support.
Neil?
Support.
Mindy?
Support.
David?
Support.
Shay?
Support.
Janice? Support. Motion has passed. Okay, and for our applicant, that's everyone that stayed on the line. We'll respond back to you formally within 48 hours. But thank you once again for bringing
Great.
before us.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, the committee. Take care.
Thanks, all.
Okay. With that, do we have a dinner break now, Ashley?
We didn't schedule one, but if you guys wanted to take a break right now, you could. We are a bit ahead of schedule.
We're half hour ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say we're half an hour ahead. So
The next applicant did say he can join early if you guys don't feel the need to take a break. So it's up to
I'm
you.
all for that.
I'm
I'm
good.
all for
Every-
that because I can get to the Oiler game.
Everyone wants to be done before 7:30 puck drop, I think is what it is.
Yeah, if there's any way of speeding this up, that's great.
Okay, well, Ashley, do you want to reach out to them and just check?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay.
Should we
That'd be
take
good.
5, Janice?
Yeah, how about we take 5? We'll take a 5-minute bio break and I'll do a roll call at 5:55.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'll drop off now, Janice, because I have to run. But to be clear, I'm not dropping off just for the game. I have to teach a course. So I am teaching a
Okay.
course and
Okay,
not
we have
going to the
quorum.
game. Okay,
It's,
thanks everyone.
it's okay. Hi, Emin.
Hey, how are you?
Good. We're just going to take a quick, like, 2-minute bio break here. So I'll do roll call at 5:55. While the committee's doing that, if you're going to be sharing your screen, you can get your presentation up on the screen, and I can confirm that we can see it.
Sure.
And then we can go from there.
Sounds good to me. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. We can see your presentation. I'll do a quick intro at 5:55 when everyone comes back.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, we'll do a quick roll call here, but maybe before we do that, Peter and Ashley, would it be appropriate to remove the Read AI bot that the last applicant was using to take their jot notes?
I guess so.
Because I'm assuming they were utilizing it just to capture their conversation.
You know what? We don't have any direction on the use of these things, but I would think it's reasonably okay to remove it.
I don't know if I have the power on my end to do it.
I'm just looking here.
I think I just removed it.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so we will jump in and do a quick roll call here of the committee members. Craig?
Yeah, I'm here.
David?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Karen?
Present.
Mindy?
Here.
Neil?
Here.
Nick?
Yeah.
And Shay?
Here.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'll do a quick intro here, and then we'll turn it over to Eamon to do a presentation. So with this, we would like to welcome you to the Edmonton Design Committee for the formal presentation of 10603 108th Ave apartment building. We would like to remind you that this is a public meeting. The committee has all received and reviewed your submission package. Your team will have 10 minutes to present, and then we'll go a virtual roundtable of committee members for a round of questions. After the presentation, the committee will deliberate and will respond formally in writing within 48 hours. So with that, Eamon, I'll turn it over to you to introduce the project.
Sure. I'm going to keep my camera off just so I can go through the presentation without having to worry about the presentation on the backside or the speaking notes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Aman Hamid. I'm here to speak about 10603 108th Ave. We're here to talk about the 20-unit apartment building that is being proposed in a transitioning part of central Edmonton. This project reflects the developer's commitment to smart infill, transit-oriented design, while also demonstrating a high-quality urban living shape. It's been shaped in alignment with the city policies, and through feedback with the development officer, we do believe it represents a positive addition to the surrounding neighborhood. And I'm just going to kind of skip a couple slides just for the sake of time, since you also have the presentation. And I'll just go right over here to project overview. The proposed building will be a 3-story building with a basement containing 20 residential units. The unit mix will be studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom layouts, accommodating a range of residents. We hope for young professionals, students, and small families, along with our senior citizens. The basement will provide amenity space, storage, laundry, and secure parking. Every unit will include a private balcony that will contribute to the livability while also providing an outdoor space for the residents. The design was prioritized looking at functionality, accessibility, and long-term value. Why this site, as some may ask? The site for the current property owner was ideal as far as the location in proximity to Rogers Arena, downtown Edmonton, Jasper Avenue, and other neighborhoods surrounding. It's within walking distance to a ton of amenities, schools, jobs, and transit. As mentioned, it falls within the Central District Plan, which does support increased density, walkability, and transit-oriented development. The site also sits within an area that the city has identified for growth within the city plan, surrounded by mature infrastructure and ready for gentle intensification. The project does respond to the need for more housing options in established neighborhoods and what the city refers to as the missing middle. And this is where I needed to keep kind of the slide kind of going. This is obviously our main floor plan. Again, just for the sake of time, I won't go into depth with it.
Amen.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, just to let you know, we can't see you switching your.
Oh, you can't see it. Okay.
We
Give
only
me
can
one
see the
sec.
first. Oh, there we go.
Are we good to go now? Okay,
Yeah, we're
perfect.
good to go.
My apologies.
We can see your overview now. Okay, thanks.
Perfect. And yeah, I'll just kind of skip through here. This is the basement floor plan. This is the main floor plan, and I'll get over to the built forms page. We'll go over here. And this is the 3D rendering as to how the building, the proposed development will look once we get to that stage. The mass itself was carefully scaled to respect the adjacent properties and blended into the fabric of the neighborhood. It's articulated with facades, balconies, and varied roof lines, which would ensure the building presents a human scale, which contributes to an inviting streetscape. The ground floor does include a walk-up entrance, which improves the activation and visibility of the building itself. And we do believe that the design meets all the zoning parameters underneath the current zoning designation, which is the RMH 23, including the height, the floor to area ratio, and setbacks. This density was done thoughtfully and carefully to ensure that there would not be additional impact on the surrounding properties and the surrounding community as large. And just to kind of move forward a little bit further. When it comes to the city of Edmonton as a whole, this site, I'll try to zoom in here. It sits right here, right on the corner of 107th Avenue, which falls underneath the city center district. The central district, which then does emphasize, according to the city plan, they're looking for vibrant mixed-use neighborhoods, supporting density, walkability, and connectivity. We do believe with the city plan, the zoning bylaw changes that occurred in January 2024, that the development that we are proposing fits within all the confines of what City Council and City Administration have worked tirelessly towards. And we're hoping that as we move further along with EDC, we can garner your support for this development. And I'll just kind of jump over to this side. So, one sec. Yeah, and when it comes to the accessibility, we focused the foundation of this project on barrier-free entrances with clear pedestrian paths and connections to transit. The public realm is enhanced with wide sidewalks, landscaping, and open space along the frontage. We have provided a secure, well-lit bike room with approximately 24 stalls, including inclusive bike stalls and repair areas to encourage cycling as a primary mode of transportation. We also feel that this reflects the city's goals of reducing vehicle dependency and also supporting an active transportation. In addition to that, when it comes to landscaping, we did focus on year-round function and beauty in mind. So we would be looking at incorporating deciduous and coniferous trees, such as the columnar Colorado spruce and the Japanese white birch for visual variety. We would also look at including low-maintenance shrubs and green spaces to promote social interaction, which would soften the urban edges of the site. The outdoor areas would be activated with winter-friendly ideas in mind, with accessible paths, lighting, and species selected to thrive in our urban climate here in Edmonton. These spaces would support relaxation, gathering, and reinforce the feeling of community as we move along in this development. And just kind of going into our landscaping plan here on page 28, showing the bike stalls as well. Just kind of jumping right into the kind of final two slides here. We do again believe that with respect to the Edmonton City Plan, this project does align on multiple city priorities, which would include promoting the nodes and corridors, active transportation, and density near transit. The central district plan is looking for walkable, connected, and vibrant neighborhoods, which we believe this development would fulfill and adhere to, alongside being compliant with respect to the zoning of the RMH 23 zone. We believe by aligning with these frameworks, we are contributing to Edmonton's long-term vision for sustainable, resilient growth. And we have, in relation to our parking, we have provided 3 surface barrier-free parking stalls, minimizing hardscaping and aligning with the walkable nature to the area. We've also provided bike parking, which exceed the minimum requirements, supporting again an alternative commuting option. And our site access is straightforward with clear pathways to the adjacent sidewalks and nearby bus routes. This does support a car-light lifestyle, which does again align with the city's overall transportation and sustainability targets. And overall, to kind of wrap it up with our talking points here, we believe and feel that this proposal does reflect the future of an urban Edmonton, which is compact, connected, accessible, and sustainable. Most importantly, it is modest. It's a well-scaled development that does bring thoughtful density to a growing corridor. It's not overwhelming, nor is it overbearing to the surrounding property owners and neighborhood. We do believe it does enhance the public realm, and it does support the active transportation and delivers much needed housing without overburdening the infrastructure. We're excited to hopefully bring this opportunity and this project to life, and we appreciate your time and consideration today. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for the presentation. We'll jump right into questions. Mindy, do you want to start us off?
For sure. Thanks, Janice. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm curious about the facade and materiality. I feel it kind of lacks a little bit of visual interest. Could use some artistic flair in terms of texture and maybe some contrasting artistic elements. Could you speak to the exterior design choices?
This was based off of the current property owner. So to kind of give you a bit of context and to know who the current property owner is, it is a British Columbia developer. They looked at the surrounding properties and surrounding kind of community as a whole, and they were looking at not overwhelming the neighborhood with something that is too bright or too bold. It's more kind of being a soft neutral tone, which they feel would again blend into the existing neighborhood while also showcasing a newer development. So that was again at this stage in their development, that is the color tones that they went with. Of course, any comments, recommendations, suggestions from the EDC, we would be more than happy to take forward to the current developer so that they can take into consideration.
Thanks for that. I do appreciate the neutrality. I understand that. I'm wondering if there might be some benefit to kind of, it does feel a little flat, so kind of considering different hues and a little bit darker tones and kind of bringing some of the depth perception out as well. That's just my suggestion. Thanks.
Okay, thanks for that, Mindy. We'll go to Craig.
Yeah, thanks for your presentation. Just following up on what Mindy mentioned, I would agree with her comments. To me, it doesn't feel very articulated. I think kind of even staying within a neutral color palette and the same materiality should be able to provide a bit more variation to those building elevations. I won't dwell on that too much more. What I'm kind of have a question about is the touches on a few things here. I don't know how to get into it. On one of the plans, it's showing a sidewalk up to the balcony. Are any of these units a ground floor unit? Do they have direct access to the outside? Like, what's the intent of the sidewalk going up to the balcony when the balcony is raised? I don't know, 2-3 feet. I don't know what that dimension is.
Yeah, no, and that's a good question. And I do believe there would be direct access once we into one of the units onto the ground floor levels. There is a basement floor, and then there's the 3 floors above that. But again, where we are in the stage, nothing to be somewhat blunt. The developer they have not, you can say, made a concrete decision at the final look of this building. So if there are recommendations or suggestions from the EDC that feels would be an appropriate fit or a better, you can say, way to make this building more attractive or a little bit more welcoming, they are open to that. They also have to be somewhat mindful of, just due to the complexity and the changing nature of, you can say, pricing of materials and the way things are going down south. They have also had to keep that in mind when it comes to the final mass of this building. But they are looking to build something that would be very well welcomed for the neighborhood and the overall community. So they sent me to this presentation to ensure that I can go back to them with comments and suggestions from the EDC that can ultimately take this building from the current look and shape and feel of it and make it something that is going to be a welcome addition to a neighborhood that has faced certain problematic issues.
Sure. Okay. Because I mean, ultimately, if that balcony, that main floor balcony, if you think of it more as a patio, that has more activation to the street as a whole, kind of gives eyes to the street, kind of makes the building relate to the street a little bit more. What that does conflict with then is your entire basement plan, which I think is quite problematic how it's shown now, with such a small area or a small distance between the grade that's showing there and that main floor balcony. I don't know how much, if any, light, air you're going to get into those basement suites, and not to take it to a building permit level, but the exiting from that bedroom window in the basement, I don't know how you're going to exit through that space. That's a little bit problematic to me. The other thing, kind of all in the same area that I see, is on the floor plan, kind of those main, I guess you have two main entrances to the building, correct? And one of them, maybe it's just a little inconsistent in one of the drawings. One of them is right up tight to the balcony side versus the other side. Having some kind of separation, massing, some kind of element to separate the public main entrance versus the private balcony would be helpful.
Sure.
I think that's most of my comments. The only other kind of thing I'll say is no, I'll leave. I'll just leave it there. I'll leave it for my colleagues. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Craig. We'll go to Neil.
Thank you. I think I really want to echo Craig's comments about that basement with those, I guess, patios. And from what I see at least, there's not a lot of separation between the ground and the main floor balconies. That's going to create a kind of a dark space. So, for the basement one, so it's kind of like, why even have an outdoor patio if it's just, I don't know if it'll be used. That's a concern. And also, to follow up on Mindy's, I think there's a big gap between being sort of soft-spoken and not wanting to be bold and being bold. So some more visual articulation would help a lot, or help a little at least. But I think my primary concern is that basement level. There's just not enough. And you do speak to barrier free, which I super appreciate. But I think the only barrier free is from the parking, which makes some sense. But then again, it doesn't seem like you're that high off the ground. So your main entrance from the sidewalk. So the only barrier free entrance is actually from the parking. Or am I misreading that?
No, I think you everyone makes very valid points, and this is something at the end of the day, it's helpful to hear, right? That we can take it back to the developer and the design team to let them know that there is definitely room for improvement, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to make a development that is welcoming, but it's also designed with the correct principles in mind. But no, I appreciate your comments, Neil. Thank you.
More than anything, we want a successful project. So
1,000%. I think everyone does.
I'll pass it on to my colleagues.
Okay, thanks for that, Neil. We'll go to David.
Yeah, thanks for your presentation. I think everyone's had a chance to talk about the building and form and articulation. The other point to add to that is the tuck under parking. That's quite a mass of wall that covers that space, and it doesn't look very safe. And it might be a good idea to consider, creating a more sort of permeable, sort of decorative screen in that instead of that wall, so that there's a little bit more eyes on the street, and though that doesn't look as massive as it does. And then the only being a landscape architect, the only thing as well, I think there needs to be some refinement. Craig sort of talked about sort of the activation of those balconies as actually entrances into the building, which would activate the street a lot better. But I think also how you approach sort of the site landscape could also sort of better define the building frontages and the entrances and that transition between the public realm and the private realm. And that, that could be done with plant material, and then also supported through some features such as, walls or decorative screens or fencing. I think there's also some opportunity to create some outdoor amenity space on this site as well, especially on the corner of the site. So, yeah, I think there's some refinement to be done, and that's all I have to add.
Okay, thanks for that, David. We'll go to Karen.
Hi there. Thanks for the presentation. Could you go back to one of the renderings?
Sure. One sec.
So just to kind of start, to me, the building feel, and I might be going in a 180 from everyone else, but to me, the building almost feels top heavy. And maybe that welcoming, I'm wondering if that might be part of the challenge we're seeing with the welcoming aspect, is it just feels, yeah, it feels top heavy with the roof line protruding, and I understand the purpose of it, but I don't know, maybe that might help with the welcoming factor of it.
Yeah, no, again, I can definitely speak with the developer. They're, at the end of the day, it's their project, it's their you can say their baby, and all these comments, suggestions are very, very helpful. Again, to be kind of like the messenger in the middle is, they've been dealing, unfortunately, in this neighborhood, for the lack of a better term, with quite a few break-ins, and so they're just in the circumstance of trying to get a new product into the market so that there's a bit more, you can say, levels of added security, and hence it was a little bit designed this way, where there's a little bit more top heaviness, you can say, versus the current structure that's there on site. But this is, again, all these suggestions, of course, as we know, as you all know, what you see is not necessarily the final development that ends up getting to the construction stage. So all these comments, I'll definitely will wait for your comments here in the next 48 hours, and then the revisions and changes that need to be made will be made accordingly.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not talking about the safety side. I'm just like the visual aspect of the top. I don't know. I might be on my own on that one, but to me, that might be what's the welcoming factor, and it's more so the top of it, the roof line. My other concern was just how blank I guess it would be the south side, the back side of the building is. It just a lot of wall facing the neighbors. Yeah, not a lot of windows or anything like that. So those are probably, and then along with the basement concerns, will probably be my main considerations. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Karen. We'll go to Greg.
Thank you for your presentation. I've got a few comments, and I know they've been said before, but maybe I'll just say them again. The basement patios are a bit strange. They're almost like pillboxes. I think that might actually be a safety risk. They'd be able to kind of roll, and people be able to roll in there and kind of just set up for it. So I don't know if that's really a good strategy. I feel like a little bit more can be done on the landscaping. I do have difficulty seeing the site plan and then comparing it to this rendering and getting a full understanding of what is actually sidewalk and what is actually grass. And it does appear like you're adding a lot of sidewalk, and I'm not entirely sure what the purpose for that additional sidewalk is. Like, it gets deeper and closer into the rendering, like the one you're showing on the screen here. And I think you probably have a better opportunity to try to tie the units down to grade, much like I believe Craig was mentioning, that need to kind of find an interaction there. You do have two main entrances, but they don't read very much like a main entrance, like giving a welcoming feeling. They kind of just blend in and could just be anyone's kind of main entrance to their unit. Yeah, I think, and I can't tell, maybe you could answer the question, but the canopies over the main entrances, what is the material on that?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that at the moment. I could confirm and then reply back via email to everyone, or to the EDC email lead, Ashley, and then she can provide you that confirmation.
That's all right. So I think like a little bit more attention to the aesthetic and trying to tie it together and like to a coherent theme would go a long way. And trying to interact with the sidewalk a little bit better without extending the existing sidewalk closer over to the building. Yeah, those are my comments. I'll leave it at that, and the colleagues, let Nick go next.
Okay, thanks for that, Greg. Just a reminder to the committee to check their email for the Google Doc link. With that, we'll go to Nick.
Thanks very much for your presentation. I generally agree with what my colleagues have already said. I'm struggling with this one from a materiality and design perspective. I think the only thing I see is maybe the massing's right, but the other elements with the parking garage that was brought up, the basement's concerning, and just I think the materiality is not there. It's just not fitting. Without going into too much detail, I'll leave it at that, Janice, and pass it on. I think most of the comments being made, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nick. We'll go to Shay.
Hey, Amon, thanks for the presentation. A lot of good feedback there. I'll try to present some new comments for you to address here as well. So a couple of things to note. If there is a concern about safety on the site and safety for the neighborhood, I think having the garbage enclosure exposed and open, especially with the return for the door, creates some concealed spaces there. It might be good to kind of close that off and provide some sort of buffer between that space and the rest of the public realm and accessibility, especially with it being under some occupied spaces. Additionally, again, I think there's some depth that can be explored here, more than just materiality as well. So, you know, utilizing stucco, there are some options that can be explored as the project continues to get developed and you move forward into design development. It would be some exploration of some reveals and some other data points on the project to help alleviate some of the flatness and maybe even capitalizing the top of the building with some sort of kind of capital or terminating point, because it just kind of bleeds into the sky there. Additionally, some of the balconies have windows. Some of the balconies don't have windows, especially the one on the west elevation here. Providing some additional glazing here for those spaces could help tie them together and provide more daylight into the spaces. Additionally, there's some comments on the space being barrier-free and having barrier-free path of travel with the main floor slab being elevated the way it is. Obviously, folks who need that barrier-free path of travel can't utilize the main doors. And I don't believe they would be able to enter into the building from the parking lot either. It seems to read at grade still, so unless the parking slopes quite a bit up to be at grade with the parking entrance at the main level. I'm not sure how folks be able to get in if they need barrier free. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at there. There's a lot of opportunity again with some with trying to reduce the amount of hardscape on the north side of the building too. Again, it's wide sidewalk, small balconies, and a lot of bulk mulch. So trying to see how the building can kind of relate back to that ground level in a more not complicated or complex way, but in a more nuanced way than maybe just stone to mulch. And I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thanks, Shay. I am the last. I don't think that I have anything more to add. I kind of echo and reiterate David's comments regarding that drive under parking area. I think gaining some transparency into that area would improve the level of safety within it, as well as what we heard regarding, kind of septet and safety of the garbage area, especially given the comments, Eamon, that you had about kind of the local troubles that they have been seeing. So with that, Eamon, I'd like to thank you for bringing this before us. As noted at the start, we will respond formally in writing within 48 hours. We will transition directly into deliberation here. Feel free to stay on the call as it's a public meeting. We just ask that you don't participate in the deliberation portion.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Okay, sounds good. And maybe, Eamon, we'll just ask that you stop sharing your screen. Okay, so with that, maybe I'll open up the floor to the committee. I think we heard from a few people about the building form, articulation, etc. I'm not sure if anyone wants to make any comments regarding that. Nick?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of work to be done on this one. Like I mentioned, I think the massing's there. I think everybody pointed out the exterior design isn't really there. The functionality with the basement and the garage area is not working right. So there's a number of, I think, challenges with this overall design from my perspective. So struggling to see how it aligns. I think there's a lot of work to be done there. So that would be my comments. I think David's captured most. The only other comment I'd make is we didn't see anything around lighting on the exterior as well, which adds to some of that urban design element. So it might be worth bringing that into the recommendation. David.
I thought I did see some lighting in a lighting plan in there.
I may have missed it, but I didn't see. I was just.
I believe there was a lighting plan within
the
document.
There we go.
Specific to the lighting plan, I did have like kind of one comment on it. I'm just finding. I'm gonna look for it again. Where was it? They had like bollard lights right in the middle of the sidewalk, if I'm not mistaken. Anyone else catch that?
They had bollard lights. Well, it all depends on whether or not the sidewalks were going directly. On page 21 of the package.
21?
Right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was a lot of wall pack lighting.
A lot of wall pack lighting, and then they had the pathway lights. Maybe I'm just kind of misinterpreting where the sidewalk is there then.
Yeah, and I think those pathway lights, they're not full bollard lights. They're just small.
Just the little stick lights.
Yeah, the solar lights.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going back to the overall building, I don't know why it has two entrances. I don't think it needs two entrances. They probably get some leasable or saleable space back by going to one entrance, kind of make it more legible on where the entrance is. And I know I got my finger slapped about this. Well, I didn't get my finger slapped, but we had a discussion on a previous project where it was also a Part 3 building, which showed stairs to the building, to the front doors, and I just can't get behind anything that I know doesn't meet the basic code for accessibility to the front doors of the building. I do not think that entrance through the parkade is acceptable. So not to make it a building code review, I just have trouble kind of looking past the building code minimums when we're here to push projects toward excellence.
I was struggling with that as well, Craig. I think the driving factor of the second entrance or doors has to do with exiting from your two stair cores when you look at the main floor plan on page 6. But regardless, I think the main thing is making sure that we have a barrier-free entrance at the main entrance of the building, and that it is distinguishable.
Because like Greg mentioned, it's not very distinguishable as it is.
Yeah. And then capturing some other comments that were made that we heard was regarding those main floor balconies for the main floor units, and also the concerns with the basement patios, and the potential conflicts and septet concerns surrounding those. And then I believe we also heard some comments about the proposed site landscaping. Any other comments, Nick?
Did this come as an informal? Just out of curiosity.
I don't believe so. Ashley or Peter could confirm.
Just might have helped the applicant, I think, on this one because I felt he was looking for advice and we're more in a decision stage than giving advice. So.
No, there was no formal.
Oh.
Okay, thanks for that, Peter. Yeah, I agree, Nick. I think this project would have greatly benefited from an informal presentation. Any other items that we haven't captured? Or would anyone like to put forward a motion?
I'll put a motion forward for non-support.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
Oh, I heard Nick first.
Oh, sorry.
You did second it, didn't you, Nick?
I did, yes.
Okay. Okay. So I believe Ashley is sharing our screen. Okay, so looking at the screen, the first bullet point captures the comments that we heard from the committee around the building form, articulation, material use, etc. The second one is capturing the main floor balconies and the basement patio locations. The third one is talking about the landscaping. And then the last one is the barrier-free access to the building. Any other comments to bring forward from the committee before we go to a vote? Okay, I'm not. Oh, Peter?
Sorry, Ashley, can you just make that a bit bigger? Thanks. I just want to read through it quick to make sure we're good.
Is that better?
Thank you. Yeah, okay, I think it's clear now.
Okay, thanks, Peter, for the second set of eyes. Okay, so for the motion of non-support as shown on the screen. Oh, Peter?
And remember, it should just be a yes or no.
Yes. Okay, so for the motion of non-support, say yes or no. We will go in the committee question order. So Mindy?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Shay?
Yes.
Janice? Yes. Okay, motion passed. Okay, and I think Ahmed had already dropped off. Okay, we're still ahead of schedule. How do we think it looks to get Songlin on early?
He did say that he was available early, so I'll just see if they can join right away here.
Okay. Oh, my name generator froze. Okay. David's like, oh no, I don't want to make the committee question order by myself. Oh, it put Mindy and Craig at the start, similar as last one.
Yeah, I don't know how random this is, Janice, because I seem to be at the start an awful bit. I'm kidding.
Hey, in the first one, you were fourth last out of 10 of us.
I know.
Hey, if you want to do the job, I'll give it to you. We're gonna talk about elections at D2.
Songlin is going to be joining in the next couple minutes.
Okay, sounds great. Hi, Songlin.
Hi, Janice. Hi, everyone.
Thanks for being able to join early.
Yeah, no problem. You know, tonight I am sure everyone want to watch Conor McDavid more than me.
Yeah, we're on a roll. We're on a roll with 4 applicants in one night.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll do the quick intro and that. If you're going to share your screen for your presentation, you can start to do that, and
Sure.
then we'll get started. So, of course, we'd like to welcome
Hi,
you to
everyone.
the Edmonton Design Committee for the formal DP presentation of 10823 107th Street. We would like to remind you that this is a public meeting. The committee has all received and reviewed your submission package. You will have 10 minutes to present, and then we'll go virtual roundtable of committee members for questions. After the presentation, the committee will deliberate and respond to you in writing within 48 hours. So I will turn it over to you. I do see, I believe someone else from your team may potentially have joined as well. Oh, you're on mute, Songlin.
Oh, sorry, I think probably my network has a problem. I see that you already finished your conversation, but at my end, it is still talking. So yeah, hopefully now it is good. So yeah, first of all, I want to thank you everyone for your time to review our project. And tonight I will try to keep it short. Now I'm going to share my screen. Oh, Apit is the landscape designer. And
I believe there's one other person from your team. I think Abhi? Abby? Yeah, they're in the meeting. Maybe I'll turn my video off. Oh, they left.
yeah, Abby.
Oh, they just left.
I believe he should. Yeah, let me see. Maybe I will just give me a second. I will call him and ask him to join again.
That sounds good.
Happy.
I joined it, but I was not hearing the sound, so I'm joining from my another leg. 1 second.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Technical difficulties, the joy. Okay, we do see your screen though, Songlin.
Yeah. Control. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen. It looks like it's in full screen mode. And then Songlin, if you are having streaming problems, if you do want to turn off your camera, it's okay. We understand.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Okay, and I see Abby has joined again. Hopefully he can hear us.
Yes, it's better now. Sorry, I was not able to hear, so I need to change the laptop.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, well, I'll turn it over to Songlin then.
Okay. Let me turn off. Okay, yeah, let me turn off my camera. Okay, so this is the agenda of tonight. First of all, our project is located in the Central Madauga. The Central Madauga ARP, the plan concept is Central Madauga is one of the oldest neighborhood in Edmonton. And in recent years, Central Madauga has attracted a large number of immigrant families. It is next to the city's arterial road, 109th Street, 111 Avenue, and 107 Avenue commercial area. I'm sorry, I hear the echo. I don't know if that affects you.
I'm not sure. I think the only other person. Okay, I've muted everyone on the call, Songlin, except for you.
Yeah, probably it's my network problem because I can hear my voice. It's maybe about 10, 15, 20 minutes later after I speak.
We don't hear an echo on our end.
Oh, okay, that's good. So I will just. Okay, sounds good. Then I will just ignore that. Here is the site context plan. The location, Central Madauga, is one of the most developing area in Edmonton, and it is close to.
Oh, we've lost audio, Songlin.
Yeah, because those sound maybe about 20, 30 seconds ago.
Songlin, would you potentially be able to join on your phone and Ashley could share the screen?
Yep, sure.
That might work better. Ashley,
Or
do you, oh, or Peter?
what if Songlin you just log off and log back in?
Oh, and see if it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Songlin. Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now, Songlin?
Hopefully third time's a charm.
Classic tech support. Did you restart your computer? That's what IT always asks. Thanks, Abby. Hi, Songlin. Is your audio any better?
Yep. Now I don't see the echo. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yep. Yeah, maybe I need Ashley to help me to show the PPT.
Yep, no problem. I will upload it.
Okay, there you go, Songlin.
Awesome. Yeah.
We'll restart.
Yep. Thank you so much. Yeah, I apologize for the wasting everyone's time. So tonight we are doing the presentation for the 10823 at 107 Street apartment. Next, please. Yep, this is the agenda for tonight. Next, please. Our project is located in Central Madrigal. Central Madrigal is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Edmonton. And in recent years, Central Madrigal has attracted a large number of immigrant families. It is next to the city's arterial road, 109th Street, 111 Avenue, and 107 Avenue Main Street commercial area. Next, please. Let's look at the site contact plan. This area is one of the most redeveloping area in Edmonton. It is close to existing apartment area. There are a lot of the apartment which was built decades ago along 107 Avenue and from 105 Street to 112 Street. It is a great location, convenient to almost everything. It is walking distance to 107 Avenue commercial area, to McEwan University, the parks, hospital, Kingsway Mall, LRT station, and the schools. And it has convenient access to city's downtown core. Next, please. The project site, the immediate site context is made up of the following. There is 1.5 to 2.5 story houses and 2.5 story to 3-story apartment to the west across 107th Street. It is 1.5 story houses and empty lot to the north. 1 to 1.5 story houses and 2-story townhouse to the east, and 1 to 1.5 stories houses to the south. Next, please. These are some existing sites photo looking from 107th Street and the back alley. Next, please. And I would like to share some of the formal project which is similar to this proposed apartment. Next, please. And next, please. Next, please. The project overview. It is a 3-story apartment building with 8 units. The building height is 30 feet and 2 inch, or 9.19 meter tall, which meets the RS zoning requirement. It is located at 10823 107th Street. There are many existing apartments in this area. The site area is 697 square feet. Our total floor area is 611 square meter. 697 square meter. And the FAR is 0.88. We have provided rooftop patio amenity space for the residents. The parking is along the back lane. Next, please. For the building design, this building is designed to meet the city's zoning bylaw requirements and Central Madrigal area with development plan. The proposed building is 3-story and 9.19 meters tall, which meet the zoning requirement, maximum 10.5 meter or 3 stories. The front setback is 4.5 meter. The rear setback is 16.22 meters. Both side setback are 3.05 meter. All meet or exceed the zoning bylaws requirement. Pedestrian access and inclusive bicycle store are in front of the building. handicap and vehicle parking store by storage are in the backyard facing the alley and on the main floor interior space. Next, please. For the building's entry design, we have provided feature canopy above the entry, provide the inviting first impression, and also the weather protection. We have widened the space in front of the entry with the bike-racks and landscape area. We have provided a street-facing landscape and front yard patio in front of the building. Next, please. For the building design, this building is designed to meet the city's zoning bylaw requirement and the ARP. The proposed building 3-story and which meet the requirement. We have designed a modern style with the material and colors to be neutral to match the adjacent existing and new build buildings. The building mass, materials, and colors are inconsistent with other apartment buildings in this area. The apartment's main entrance is facing front 107th Street with feature canopy and landscape service. Apartment also has a rear entrance facing the parking stalls. EIF is stucco, metal sidings, and stone veneer with neutral colors and accent feature elements are used in the elevation design to create design interest and human scale feeling. We have provided adequate exterior light fixtures and illuminated signage for the customer and resident safety. Next, please. Urban design principle. The building is designed to strengthen the characters of the urban revitalization in this area. The design enhance the pedestrian experience by providing trees and shrubs, lighting, entrance open space, and convenient bicycle racks. The development is integrated with Central McDougall and Queen Mary Park ARP's requirement. Landscape enhance both the project and the neighborhood and community. The plants used in this project are low maintenance and can survive Edmonton's severe winter. The building facade is designed with detail and articulation to create an attractive interface with the street. The building exhibits a good balance, harmony, and rhythm in the material, providing a facade and side elevation that contribute to the streetscape, reflect the neighbors' vitality, and reinforce the character of the adjacent buildings. Both the front and rear entry has featured canopy or covered entry to provide weather protection for the residents. Rooftop amenity space is provided for the residents. Building orientation and configuration try to maximize the daylight and sunlight. Materials include EIF stucco, stone veneer, and metal siding. All are sustainable, durable, high quality, and requiring minimal maintenance. Mechanical units are placed inside the building, which will not be exposed to the public. Next, please. This is the site plan. So on the main floor, we reduce the building area to only have 2 small units on the main floor. And we have provide adequate parking and a garbage pickup area in the backyard. Next, please. This is the main floor plan. So there are 2 units on the main floor, and also we provide the laundry room on the main floor. Mechanical room is also inside on the back. Next, please. Second floor plan. We have provided 3 units on second floor, 1 bedroom, 1 2-bedroom, and 1 3-bedroom. We try to get the unit mix to service the different needs of the people. Next, please. Third floor, pretty much the same as the second floor. Next, please. The roof plan, and we have provided a rooftop patio for the residents. Next, please. The elevation.
So the front elevation and the back elevation. Next, please. South elevation. And next, please. North elevation. Next, please. The building section. So we don't have any basement for this project. It's only 3-story above the ground. Next, please. Landscape plan. So we have the landscape architect to join this meeting. He's happy to answer any question about the landscape. Next, please. These are the trees and the shrubs that we use for this property. Next, please. Signage, because this is only a apartment building without any commercial use. So we just use a simple letter signage to show the address of this of the building. So the people and the visitor, they easy to find the location. Next, please. The lighting plan. So we have provided wall lamps installed on exterior perimeter of the building to provide a nice lighting for the side. We also provide a potlucks of all soffit under the, for example, at the roof of the main floor on the back side. Wall lights are and bollard lights on rooftop patio and rooftop patio. Exterior light controlled by photo cell. Next, please. These are the material that we use. We have 3 different color of the EIFS stucco, and we have the metal siding, as well as the stone veneer on the main floor. Next, please. This is the sunshade analysis on March the 21st. Next, please. On June the 21st. And because we have the setback, we have 3 meters setback on both the north side and the south side. So this building, we have minimized the shadow to our neighbors. Next, please. This the sunshade analysis on September 21st. Next, please. December 21st. And this summarizes my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for that, Songlin. We'll jump right into committee questions. Mindy, do you want to start us off?
For sure. Thanks, Janice. Hi, Songlin. Nice to see you
Hi.
again.
Yeah.
Thanks for your presentation. I don't have any questions. Just say I do appreciate the rooftop amenity space, especially when you have those Juliet balconies. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. All my former clients, it seems that they enjoy the rooftop patio, especially when it is close to the downtown. So in the summer, they have a very nice view.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mindy. We'll go to Craig.
Thanks for your presentation.
Thank you, Craig.
I just had a couple of comments, I guess, on the front of the building and the main floor plan, really. The front of the building, the black mass there, it does feel really stark, and I think it's largely because you have a stairwell there, so you have limited opportunities for glazing there.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit unfortunate. The kind of entry feels a little tacked on. It feels like even in plan, it's kind of a really compressed entry. One of the things I was looking at, and it's a bit unfortunate that you have all of this space in front of the building that can't be used. And I realize it'd be a great spot for an amenity space, kind of expand that to tie into the main entry. It's unfortunate there's a 1-bedroom there. And just as I was kind of thinking about it, it seems strange to kind of flip it, but if the laundry and the storage was on the front, that might provide an opportunity to tie in some front yard amenity space. So when you're doing your laundry, you can go outside and hang out on the patio, right, and kind of reshuffle that around. The only other thing I have kind of concern with is having the bike storage, I think those are bike stalls in the laundry and storage. It's just a little tight. But yeah, and I know it seems weird to say kind of put the laundry on the front of the building, but it like I said, I just kind of see it as an opportunity to tie it in with some outdoor amenity space, which would kind of, you know, amplify that laundry space to you know,
I see your point. Yep.
From a utilitarian point to, you know, I imagine some people hang out and wait for their clothes instead of just leaving. So and give them a chance to hang out outside.
Yep.
That was it. I kind of appreciate the rooftop amenity. It's a shame there's not a little bit more private amenity, but it's a fair bit of rooftop amenity you've given for 8 units. So I think that's commendable.
Yeah. In some time, I have designed the balcony because we have the bigger size setback for this project. But later on, there are 2 concerns from the client. One is because sometimes the city may think that your balcony on the side will oversee the neighbor's lawn. So it could be, it could affect the neighbor's privacy. And second, the client, they want to save the cost because this could be a rental property. So for these 2 reasons, mostly it's the first one because the city have that comment a couple times before. So eventually we remove that the balcony. And I appreciate your comment. And I think say that for the stairwell, it is very possible that we can introduce more window or even say like larger window to reduce that bulky feeling of the stairwell.
Yeah, and then lastly, kind of congrats on getting a 3-bedroom in there. Unexpected, really, but nice.
Yeah. I try my best. The client, they think that I am quite efficient. So every time when they ask me to design something for them, they always expect more area, more unit, more rooms.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Craig.
Okay, thanks for that, Craig. We'll go to Nick.
Thanks, Sonny, for your presentation. And I agree with Craig's comments. My main comment is going to be around, I'm trying to understand, unfortunately in the package that I looked at, and maybe I missed something here, Janice, but I didn't see all the parking until I saw the presentation. So there's nothing showing that rear. So I got a few questions because when I looked at that parking, it doesn't seem to work in terms of the maneuvering coming in and out from the rear lane. You've got from an angle. And then the other question I have is, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if that's enclosed or whether you've cantilevered over it, but if it's open, it does concern me from a SEBTED point of view in terms of what that's going to create in that area, because it becomes a vulnerable space. Maybe you could just explain a little bit more on that drawing, because I haven't. If you have a look, you got angle parking, and if you reverse those, they're having a reverse out one into the rear lane. 2, they're going to collide with each other in the way I'm looking at that plan. And then I'm trying to understand what that, because you didn't show an elevation of what that looks like, and I'm trying to get my head around it. So maybe if you could share that with us.
Sure. Sorry, you mean the elevation of the parking or the elevation of, I just want to make sure that I understand you correctly.
Well, there's 2 drawings. One is you have the top elevation showing the parking layout. And then if I'm not mistaken, your building is, you have one level with the parking, and then it seems like the building goes up and then goes over the parking.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if you're going materiality. Is that just open to anybody in the parking area? I'm just trying to understand, is it enclosed parking or is it open parking? Is probably a quick question.
Nick,
it is.
Just for Nick's reference, Nick, if you want to look at the elevations on page 11 and 12 of the submission package, it gives you at least the elevations of the building, and then Songlin can elaborate.
Yeah.
Yes, I think for some reason the package I have only goes up page 6. So I'm wondering what I'm missing there. That's what's strange.
That's the package on the link, but the package that was actually sent, Nick, has the sheets.
Okay, so that's where it is.
On the link, the agenda link, there are some pages missing out of that for sure.
Okay, thank you, David. That's probably where I'm missing it. But anyway, there are my comments is in regards to that area. I do have concerns around that, how it's designed. I know the McDougall area very well. I've done work in the area, and it does worry me a bit about from a SEPTED point of view. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, when we design this project, I know that the parking is a challenge because the client, they want to have each unit has own parking. That's his requirement, and he doesn't want to compromise that, although the city has removed the parking requirement. And for the angle parking, it is not ideal, but we have designed quite a few project with the angle parking when the lot is very narrow. And yeah, you are right. When you back off the lane, that's not very convenient, and sometimes you need to be very careful. But so far, it seems that the client, they don't complain that, because in their opinion, probably providing parking for each unit is more important, and they will have the sign and ask the residents to be very careful. And the city's transportation department, they also review this one, and they think as long as when you are parking, angle parking, when you are back out, as long as it doesn't exceed a certain distance, they think that's acceptable. Yeah. So for one time, I tried to reduce the parking number, and I increased the amenity space, or even in indoor amenity space. But the client, it seems that for this one, when we have an A unit, we will have to have minimum A parking. And for some 3-bedroom, probably the residents, they also they want 2 parking stalls. So I just try my best to meet the client's requirement, and also to still follow the city's guideline of the angle parking. Yeah, I hope that answer your question.
Sorry, I think that my main concern would come down to the design. I mean, there is a safety issue of transportation, I'm happy with it, but it's more from a crime prevention through environmental design. You've got a structure going over a pretty open area that's, and so I haven't seen anything yet from a design point of view that's really addressed that. That's my concern. So I'll leave it at that.
I see. Yeah, if we look at the site plan, there are 2 columns in the parking lot. One is at the walkway space right next to the handicap parking. So that column should be fine. It doesn't affect the parking. And the other column is at the corner. When I lay out the parking, if you look at the site plan, you will see that I have roughly about 1'4", 1'6" space to allow the parking. And so both parking on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side of the column, they are a bit further away from the parking. And also we will provide the concrete base for the column in the parking. So the column is not at the parking spot itself, but we leave the space in between the 2 parking to accommodate the column.
Thank you, Janice. I'll pass it on. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that, Nick. We'll go to Neil.
Thank you. You probably mentioned, I may have missed it. Why the Juliet balconies as opposed to regular balconies?
Why we use Juliet balcony instead of the normal balcony?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The client like the Juliet balcony because one, it provides kind of like the balcony feeling. Second, it doesn't stick out, so it maintain the front yard. So the balcony is not covering the front yard, and also it saves the construction costs. So that's why the client, he wanted to use the Juliet balcony, not the normal balcony.
Okay, got it. I was curious. And another curiosity is,
Yeah.
for the mustardy yellow component, you landed it with some stone veneer. Why break that up? Actually, I kind of liked it with the yellow.
The yellow. Oh, you mean continue the yellow siding all the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can consider that. Yeah, the stone veneer, because the city sometimes they want us to have some different material and different color. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but the requirement is say that you need to have some articulation and the wall cannot be more than something like that. So I try to have some change to make the design easier to pass the city's urban design team's review. Yeah. So and for the stone veneer, it is a bit more durable. So for the base, so especially when you are mowing or you are snow removing, probably the stone veneer will be more durable if they hit the wall by accident. Yeah.
I think the two colors give lots of pop and articulation, but all
Yeah.
good to me. I'll pass it on.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Neil. We'll go to David.
Yeah, thanks, Song, for your presentation. I really, my comments sort of echo the others with regards to the building. You know, I like Neil. I didn't really question the use of a different material like the stone veneer. I just sort of questioned the stone veneer as a stone veneer rather than like a brick, and how much of it's being used. Like it extends well up. It doesn't really ground the building. It sort of extends beyond that, sort of grounding the building. And you know, I had some comments on sort of the window sizes and symmetry, and also with regards to what Craig had mentioned about sort of that stairwell block and the massing of it, and maybe looking at additional glazing to that.
Yep.
I also have concerns with the parking lot arrangement, being angle stalls, and then also with regards to when depending if you go back and revisit that, I think it's really important to think about the arrangement of those stalls and sort of the selected plant material or landscape that you're doing adjacent to those parking stalls, and in regards to the size that those plants are going to grow to, or the vehicle types that might be using those spaces, like a truck overhang over a precast curb is a lot longer than a regular vehicle, so which ends up affecting plant material, and then just maintenance and snow clearing and things like that. So, and I guess the only other comment I had, it was going to be a question, but I think I've probably mentioned this on some of your other projects, is selecting plant material and site features to sort of better define the frontage and the main entrance and that transition between sort of the public and private realm. I think there could be a little bit more done for this site to, incorporating those types of features, and potentially looking at a shared outdoor amenity space even on the main floor there, on entry into the building as well. So anyway, that's all I have to add. As I said, most of it has been mentioned already. So
yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, David. We'll go to Karen.
Hi there, Songlin. Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
Oh, you got me. I don't really have anything new to add. I was really confused looking at the parking, how that would function. You've talked about that. And then the other thing I would echo is just that stairway block. To me, that it feels like kind of institutional as opposed to residential. So maybe it's just that interface with the street and the and how that interacts with the neighborhood context. I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Karen. We'll go to Greg.
Yeah, I think everything I want to say has been said once. I kind of agree with Karen as well too. That the stairwell is very overpowering over the entire facade, and the window orientation on it seems you haven't made up your mind yet which way it's going to go. So I think you could probably do some adjustments there. But yeah, I don't have anything else.
Yep, sure, absolutely. I will review the window design for that stairwell.
Okay, thanks for that, Greg. We'll go to Shay.
Yeah, thanks, Songwin. This was great, and I think all of my comments have been addressed. And I think I'll just reiterate, one more voice saying it. Just the stairwell massing, and in particular, I'm just remiss. The glazing just feels disproportionately small to the height of the building at that spot. And again, some windows are really close to an edge. Some have a lot more space. Every window looks like it's a little bit of a different size, but that's already been communicated. And maybe further to David's point, just the location and placement of some of the landscaping around the parking area. As soon as you get a big truck moving into that space, I don't think that tree adjacent to some of that space is going to be able to fit. You'll hit it every day, and it's pretty close to the fence as well. I'm not sure the full canopy will fit within that space. And then just remiss again the height of the building and just that interface with the potential for some sort of outdoor common amenity space just outside what could be that front lawn. I feel like it wants to be something more than sod, like a small shared community space, some seating, more than just a linear set of shrubs there between two open patches of sod. So that's everything I've got. Thanks, Songwin.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Shay.
Okay, thanks for that, Shay. Similarly, I think all of my comments have been noted. Only building potentially off of the angled parking stalls. I know it would potentially move it slightly further away from the entrance, but if the angled parking stalls were to remain, I'd look at potentially relocating the accessible stall to beside the stair core. On actually closer to the lane. And the only reason why I say that is potentially a person using an accessible stall may not have the mobility to turn as much. So just giving them a clearer path of travel to the lane with less maneuverability may be beneficial. So.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, well, with that, Songlin, we'd like to thank you for bringing this before us. As I noted previously, we'll respond to you formally in writing within 48 hours. The committee will jump right into deliberations here, so if you would like to stay on the line, feel free. We just ask that you don't participate in the deliberations.
Yep, sounds good. I will leave. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Songlin.
Go, let's go.
Let's go. Okay. So with that, I'll open it up to the committee. I think the biggest things we heard about was kind of the building materials and that massing of the stair core and window layout. The second one was regarding plant material, not only in the parking area, but also the main entrance. And then, of course, the angled parking in of itself. Anyone want to elaborate or expand? Or anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion of support.
Okay. And I'm assuming your motion of support will capture those three main items. Can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
Oh, thanks, Neil. Okay. Ashley, do you want to share your screen? Maybe zoom in. Maybe zoom in a little more.
Thank you.
Trying to get Peter's back. Okay. Karen, I think you highlighted that portion of the text that's highlighted right now. Did you have a comment?
Nope, that is completely unintentional.
Oh, okay.
I will.
It's okay. I'll get rid of it.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because you highlighted it.
No, that was completely unintentional.
Okay, so as I noted, that first bullet point captures the comments about the building materials, extents, the windows, the symmetry, and just the massing of that corrugated steel siding at the stair core. The second one, I don't know, David, if you want to elaborate on at all, but I think it captures the landscaping comments. And then the third one is the parking lot. Any other thoughts, comments?
Janice?
Yeah, Craig?
Did this one go to an informal?
I don't believe so. Peter or Ashley could correct me.
There was no informal.
Yeah.
Peter, these would be really good audit projects. You know, ones that sort of borderline that we end up supporting, and then it would be good. It would be interesting to see how much of these comments are considered.
Okay, I've made a note of that.
Good recommendation, David. Okay, any other thoughts or comments before we go to a vote? Okay, we're not hearing any, so we'll go to a vote for a motion of support as shown on the screen. We'll start with Mindy.
Yes.
Craig.
Support.
Nick.
Yes.
Neil.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
Greg.
Yes.
Shay.
Yes.
And Janice, yes, motion has passed. Okay. And Honglin and Abby had already dropped off. Okay. Well, with that, we will move on to other business. D1, work planning update.
Okay, I'll make this really quick because I know other people want to get off the call here. So the work planning update is really quick. The work in terms of this year's work plan is essentially completed. We do have to prepare a what we heard report, or sorry, what we did report that goes onto the EDC website. We have to prepare a memo to the city manager. And then we have to also have to figure out how we implement the changes and what the timeline is. So one of the things that we'll do is we'll look to the subcommittee to help provide some direction on that, and we'll keep all of you in the loop as to how that unfolds. The last thing I'll say about the work planning update, which is a segue into item D3, is that we have begun to work with the subcommittee on what the 25-26 work plan. We know what it looks like, but how we're going to actually do the work in the next year. So that's the work planning update, short and sweet. If there's no questions, I can move on to item D2. All right, item D2. So every year we have to elect a new chair and vice chairs. The election for the upcoming term is going to be held on May the 20th. That's the next meeting. And again, we have an election process for chairs and vice chairs. We can circulate the procedure. It is fairly straightforward, and it is included in the standards and procedures. But just for your information, we will share it with you. So that's item 2, if there's no questions. Great. Item 3, subcommittee. So just as a reminder, the subcommittee's role is to work closely with the administration on developing and delivering the work plan. I think hopefully all of you or most of you have a pretty good handle on what our work plan is for 25, 26, then we'll go into that now, but that's what really the subcommittee's role is over the year, is to deliver that. Just as a reminder, the subcommittee meets about once a month, and the subcommittee really is mostly of advisory nature. The subcommittee directs the administration to do the heavy lifting, and the subcommittee is the first point of contact to provide the direction and the review to then bring decisions to the committee to move things along. Right now we have 5 committee members. We have Janice, David, Neil, Jonathan, and Ty Ziola, who's a previous EDC member. There's no limits to the number of committee members, and you don't have to be on the committee to be a part of the subcommittee. There's also no term limits, which I actually didn't know. So of the 4 people that are current EDC or subcommittee members, we don't know how long they will want to continue. So the ask is if there's anyone else who would like to join the subcommittee. And that's not a question that has to be answered tonight. We do have enough people to keep the work going, but maybe if you would like to think about this at the next meeting on May the 20th, if anyone is interested, we can get you on board. I don't know, Janice, do you want to add anything to that, or Neil or David?
No, the only thing I think I would add for Shay's benefit is the subcommittee meeting notes are available on the EDC website. So if you want to see what like our last meeting or 2 have been, because it kind of outlines the work plan for the next coming year.
Yeah, and actually I'd say that for anybody, if anyone's interested, it does give you a sense of what the subcommittee does. And the subcommittee meets for an hour a month, and I don't know for the people that are on the subcommittee what the kind of time commitment is on your end. I don't think it's a huge time commitment, but it's certainly a valuable commitment. We really appreciate the kind of advisory role that you folks play in helping us get this work done. So that's really just an invitation for those of you who may be interested and would like to join Neil and Jonathan and David and Janice and Ty. So that is the update. Back to you, Janice.
Okay, sounds good. So with that, upcoming applications, do we have anything coming on the 20th? Day after the long weekend?
I'm going to ask Ashley this. I should know, but I don't.
We don't have anything booked currently.
They were all booked today.
I was going to say they all came today. Okay, so technically we shouldn't have anything to come because today should have been the last day to submit, but
well, I'm just going to jump in to say, while today's the last day to submit, Friday, I believe, is the last day for us to get it on the agenda.
yeah, okay. So
and the reason I raised that, sorry to keep going, is that what the subcommittee did tell us they wanted to do was a meeting in person to wrap up one of the items on the work plan, which is to discuss changes to the EDC boundary. And so the suggestion was made by the subcommittee was to meet in person to do that. And I think May 20th was the day that was flagged to do that.
I was just gonna jump on that as well, Peter, and then elections as well, right?
Yeah. Although conceivably we could postpone both of these things.
I would say if we have time in the schedule, we should do it.
Yeah, Ashley, do we have anyone that's thinking of coming to the next EDC meeting?
We did have that one affordable housing project that was looking at that date, but they haven't submitted anything yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Greg, Peter, just in terms of the election, we should determine who's going to not be there. And if they're in town, can they do it remote? Remember, we had that issue before. So I don't know if it's clear in the protocol.
Well, everyone is essentially remote now because everyone is online.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so there's no issue except that you have to be involved in the meeting to actually vote.
Okay.
So that'll come through in the procedures that we'll attach to the minutes.
Okay, yeah, I just remember we had a little glitch before.
Yeah, and that was in the old days pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, Janice, I think maybe what I would do then is defer to you. Do you think that we should just proceed with the May 20th meeting to cover the elections and the planning question around the boundary?
I think so. I think we should do it while we have the capacity to do it.
Sure. All right. And so it'll be in person. So that'll be, there'll be dinner provided. And we'll have some materials here to assist in the conversation. We'll have some maps and tracing paper and markers and all that fun stuff.
Neil, you said you can attend in person on the 20th.
No, I'll be out of town.
Okay.
Can you attend remotely?
I'm confident I can.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Oh,
I don't think you can vote if you're out of town.
okay. Mindy.
Peter, can we clarify? I know it's pre-COVID, but I just want to be sure that, are you allowed to vote if you're out of town?
It doesn't matter where you are, you're remote.
Okay.
The issue is that pre-COVID, we did all the meetings in person and we had people that were.
Okay, I just want to be clear on it for everyone. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
We're good.
Good.
I will just say, if you're attending remotely, the planning conversation is going to be very difficult to take part in. I think you would end up being more of an observer than a participant. Just to be transparent about it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I don't think we'll ever find a meeting when everyone's going to be able to attend in person.
No.
Sorry to say. I'll just go on to say maybe what we can do is for Mindy and Neil and any others is see what we can do in advance to set you up to think about and contribute to the best of your ability in a remote situation. Sound fair?
That's great.
Okay.
Okay, you got some thanks, Peter. Okay, well, with that, we'll move on to F, adjournment. We will adjourn the meeting at 7:41. Go Oilers, go.
Good night, all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Shay. Welcome.
Good first meeting.
Yeah,
good
great
job,
first
Fred.
meeting to jump into. 4 applicants.
By 7:40.
Yeah, I know. We were motivated.
Yeah.
Okay, good night.
Yeah.